The figure of Jesus of Nazareth has been shaped by centuries of narratives that, for the most part, stem from firmly held religious interpretations. But what if the story we were taught is nothing more than a manipulated version? What if everything we thought we knew about his legacy was far from the truth? These questions open the door to crucial reflections. Is it possible that the Gospels have been manipulated to suit human interests? What if the authentic message of Jesus had been deliberately buried? In probing these questions, surprising and revealing answers emerge. The Gospel texts, on which the great Christian religions are based, seem to be riddled with alterations that distort the essence of the original message. Jesus never founded a church. If you enjoy content that helps you grow spiritually, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and join our community for more inspiration. Let's get started. This concept, promoted by figures like Paul of Tarsus, reflects more an attempt to institutionalize his message than to maintain its purity. The idea of equality between men and women, rich and poor, slave and free that Jesus advocated was radical for his time and was rejected by the authorities of his day. Instead of preserving his teaching, they chose to adapt it to structures that ensured power and control. Such manipulations are not limited to Christianity. The great religions, such as Islam, show in their texts and practices elements that, when analyzed closely, raise serious inconsistencies. Religion, in many cases, has served to divide rather than unite, to dominate rather than liberate. Humanity is trapped in a circle of inherited beliefs, often without questioning them. However, there is an alternative: unlearning. Unlearning what we were taught in school, in the media, and in religious institutions opens the possibility of connecting with a more genuine truth. Filtering information, questioning it, and making decisions based on intuition becomes a revolutionary act. When developed, the intuition seldom fails and enables us to investigate additional and novel viewpoints. The true legacy of Jesus does not reside in temples or doctrines, but in a universal message of love and equity that transcends cultures and times. Rediscovering it requires courage to challenge the established, detach from old narratives, and seek a personal connection to what it means to be human. In the most remote and deprived lands, happiness emerges in unexpected ways. The bright eyes of children playing among polluted puddles may seem an impossible contrast, but they reveal a truth. Human experience transcends external conditions. According to a fascinating theory, before birth, each person selects the experiences he or she will have as he or she passes through the world, from the moments of joy to the darkest. This life contract states that existence is not about learning, but about experiencing. The idea of reincarnation, though widely debated, seems inadequate to encompass the greatness of a supreme being. To think of endless cycles of death and rebirth, according to this perspective, limits the nature of an infinite God. Life is not about accumulating knowledge, but about feeling each experience as a unique learning experience. If everything is connected to a greater purpose, then every joy and every shadow brings us closer to understanding that divine spark within. But how to understand this purpose in a world full of uncertainties and unanswered questions? This is exactly what The Secret of Jesus' Apparitions offers, a path to clarity and peace through his revelations. This ebook delves into his prophecies and offers a glimpse of what lies ahead. It is available for free in the anchored commentary. Grab it now before editions run out. Instead, life is perceived as a unique opportunity to feel, explore and understand phenomena impossible to experience outside of matter, such as time and imperfection. Time, omnipresent in our reality, becomes a peculiar master. It urges us to move with urgency, to plan, to remember. However, when we leave this plane, time ceases to exist, freeing the soul from its restrictions. Matter, with all its imperfections, also has its purpose. It challenges and shapes perception, allowing beauty and difference to be valued. Death, in this context, is not an ending, but a return. The idea of coming home implies a continuity in which souls meet again. Parents, siblings, grandparents, all are there, but no longer in the roles they played in life. Beyond worldly bonds, the connection is strong and vital. This idea implies that love endures even when words are unable to express what is beyond. In this framework, even the mysteries of humanity, such as space projects, take on another dimension. The Apollo missions, for example, may have had far more enigmatic purposes than is generally believed. The Moon, with its supposedly unknown ruins, remains a reminder of how little we know and how vast the universe is. Life, then, is not just an individual journey, but a shared act of discovering and experiencing the unimaginable, both in the tangible and in what transcends human understanding. The camera, diverted from its original focus, offered an unexpected glimpse. The images captured what appeared to be a structure under construction on the lunar surface, a detail that was not meant to be seen. In an immediate act, Apollo project managers justified the incident by claiming that one of the astronauts had accidentally hit the camera with a hammer. However, official versions always leave room for suspicion. Shortly after, on the Apollo 17 mission, an unusual activity was recorded. Explosive charges were placed on the supposed lunar ruins and detonated, according to confidential reports from military personnel involved. The Moon, contaminated by these actions, ceased to be an exploratory destination. Von Braun, one of the most brilliant minds in the space race, had expressed his enthusiasm for lunar conquest. But upon discovering the truth behind the hidden goals, his opposition may have sealed his fate. The theory that his death was brought about by unconventional methods gains momentum in a world where medical technology and disease have become silent tools of control. Can you imagine what it would be like to connect with a message that gives meaning to every moment of your existence? Find out more about this unique perspective in the e-book. Don't let this opportunity pass you by before they run out. An innocent cocktail could contain a lethal bacteria that acts within hours, leaving a trail of death that goes unnoticed. The pharmaceutical business, like the arms and drug business, thrives on perpetuating problems rather than their solutions. Chronic diseases have become a goldmine, securing perpetual customers rather than cured patients. Meanwhile, fear and misinformation fuel this machinery, generating unprecedented profits. In another arena, climate change has become a new focus of debate and business. The planet's natural cycles, evidenced by glaciations and desertifications thousands of years ago, suggest that the Earth follows its own rhythms, independent of human action. While reducing pollution is essential, the idea that humans are the main cause of climate change reflects a convenient narrative rather than an absolute truth. Fear, once again, is used as a tool to manipulate and profit. Jesus, in his most transcendental message, spoke of a unique instant in human life, the moment when a divine spark descends into the soul, marking the connection with something far greater than ourselves. This spark, an eternal gift, is testimony that the transcendent transcends all earthly manipulation. Jesus, in his walk on earth, not only lived as a spiritual teacher, but also shared in the daily labors of those around him. He worked in a variety of jobs throughout his life, including carpentry, fishing, and grape picking, all of which allowed him to have a close understanding of his people's reality. Every journey he undertook was an opportunity to understand the needs, fears, and hopes of those he sought to reach. This practice of getting to know people from the inside, called became a central focus of his mission. In his visits to homes and farms, Jesus sought not only to teach, but also to learn. He entered people's lives with genuine interest, making them feel valued and understood. This approach, however, generated tensions even within his own family. Mary, his mother, expected him to fulfill the prophecies that heralded a warrior Messiah, someone destined to free Israel from the Roman yoke. For her, the role that Jesus claimed to assume as the bearer of a universal message was difficult to accept. The conflict between the two was a constant. While Jesus defended a message of love and spirituality that transcended national and religious boundaries, Mary kept alive the hope of a Messiah who would fulfill the expectations of the Jewish sacred texts. This disagreement lasted until the last moments of her life, revealing the difficulty of accepting a mission that went beyond earthly boundaries. In his last days, extraordinary events accompanied his crucifixion. The sky over Jerusalem suddenly darkened, a phenomenon unexplainable according to the astronomical records of the time. Exploring revelations about the essence of life can be the first step toward your inner clarity. This free ebook offers profound answers. Copies are running low. The most intriguing hypothesis suggests that an unknown object blocked the light of the sun, casting a shadow over the city at a moment charged with significance. This event, along with other mysterious accounts, fuels the perception that his life was marked by interventions that went beyond the human. In the Garden of Olives, a similar episode left its mark. It appears that a celestial entity came down to console him during his most agonizing moments. These encounters support the notion that, despite the difficulties and opposition he encountered in his surroundings, a transcendental power accompanied his trip, allowing him to achieve his goals despite the fact that it was essentially human. In the starry nights of Sinai, ancient tales come alive among the Bedouins, describing celestial figures descending from the sky in forms impossible for their time to comprehend. These gods, with cubic bodies and glowing eyes, which were probably windows, interacted with the inhabitants of the region, leaving behind stories that intertwine with religious texts. The pillar of smoke and fire that guided Moses and the chariots of fire that carried away Elijah are now interpreted in a new light, blending the divine with the unknown. The sacred texts of other cultures also provide similar enigmas. The Vimanas of the Mahabharata, with their accounts of battles in heaven, seem to reflect a knowledge that transcends the earthly. This parallelism between cultures raises intriguing questions about the origin of these phenomena and their relationship to humanity. Moses, faced with what he could not understand, did the only logical thing. He interpreted these visions as divine manifestations. In the midst of these reflections, a cryptic phrase emerges among the stories: Or Gadol, a term loaded with mystery that, according to interpretations, could allude to a luminous event after a period of global suffering. This concept, mentioned in the Trojan horse texts, connects with the idea of a second coming of Jesus of Nazareth. Although the exact chronology is veiled by symbolism, the allusions to a great tribulation and a great light suggest that humanity is destined to face events of unimaginable magnitude. In the context of these revelations, another enigma arises concerning an asteroid that could approach the Earth in 2027. The implications of this event, mentioned in occult texts, feed theories about the destiny of humanity and its relationship with the cosmos. In this web of prophecies, Jesus appears not only as a spiritual figure, but also as a symbol of hope that could resurface in the darkest moment. Among the shadows of these stories is the experience of an ex-military man who, in his isolation in Yucatan, preserved secrets greater than UFO phenomena. An envelope, a key, and an encrypted message become pieces of a puzzle that connects ancient history with the present. The pages of his journal, hidden in a post office box, promised to reveal truths that defied both faith and science. The manuscripts received in different parts of the world seemed to have a purpose beyond the obvious. In each installment, the details contained in those pages challenged traditional narratives, especially those promoted by religious institutions. Are you ready for a new perspective that will transform your life? This free ebook offers you answers that can make a difference. Download it now, as copies are running low. The church, the story goes, had transformed an essentially human and spiritual message into a hierarchical structure with rigid and convenient dogmas. The most revolutionary passages had been manipulated to suit the interests of those who sought to control the growing community of followers. One of the most controversial points was the interpretation of Jesus' words about Peter. What originally appeared to be a message of unity and service became the basis for justifying the founding of an institution. However, the received text suggested that the actual words had been different, full of nuances that resonated more with the spirit of equality and humility that Jesus preached. These discrepancies fueled debate about the extent to which the Gospels had been altered to serve as a tool of power. Research on the figure of Jesus also revealed unpublished aspects of his public life. Beyond the official narratives, a picture of a guy who was devoted to common people, especially the underprivileged, came to light. In his interactions, he did not seek to impose absolute truths, but to awaken in each individual the ability to think and decide for himself. This approach was radical for its time and still resonated in a modern society that, while more informed, still struggled with systems of control. In parallel, the connection between the life of Jesus and UFO phenomena was another element that challenged established beliefs. The mention of gods descending from the sky in ancient times raised questions about the nature of the experiences described in the sacred texts. If this post makes you think and you feel it connects with you, don't forget to like it, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Also, if you really want to support our work and help us continue to create valuable content, consider giving us a super thanks. Join this amazing community and don't miss any news. These seemingly fantastic accounts took on a more tangible meaning when compared to modern sightings and the UFO phenomenon, suggesting that humanity has witnessed events that transcend scientific and religious understanding. The mission to convey this information to the public was not without its critics. Institutions reacted strongly, accusing the author of heresy, but these accusations failed to divert the focus from what really mattered. Inviting people to question, reflect, and find their own answers about the legacy of Jesus, the universe, and the transcendence of life.